Hello, hello, my lovely Year 5 designers. So we're working on our recipe today. You're all in a team where you should have a sheet like this with your team flag on, and you should have a matching blank sheet which you're going to fill in. So let me give you a few tips to fill your forms in. So first of all, on the left hand side, you have the things you have to use in your recipe. They're all slightly different and come to a slightly different amount, but you have to begin with that. Then on this side is all the things you can add to your recipe, things you have choices about, the flavourings and the vegetables, and you have a certain amount left you have to work to there. So the thing to notice is that the prices here are for 100 grams. Let me just show you what 100 grams of something look like. Let's start with carrots, for example. These are frozen carrots. So we put those in to 100 grams. Okay. And sometimes it's difficult to get it dead on. Here we go. Just have a little play around with this. And perfect. 100 grams. That's what 100 grams of carrots look like. And if you split that between 4 of you, because remember this is for 4 people, everyone has a little handful of carrots like that, which is just about a portion of fruit or vegetables. You need your 7 portions a day of those. So you might want to say, actually, we don't want 100 grams of this, we want 200 grams, which means you have to double the amount of money. So 200 grams of the carrots is 22p instead of the 11p. Or you might want to say, right, I want 150 grams of something, and so you need to take half that amount and add it on. Let's just have a look at that with the cauliflower. So there's 100 grams of cauliflower, which doesn't look a lot. So I definitely think I'd want to add some more cauliflower. So I'm just going to add another 50 grams of that. So if the cauliflower is 100 grams, and that's 12 pence, then for 50 grams, it's got to be 6 pence. So you've really got to play around with your maths here, deciding how much to put in of something. And the idea is to have as many vegetables as possible in your dish, because that way you're getting lots of different types of nutrients. So once you've worked this all out, with some rough ideas, you begin to write it down here. So this is for rough ideas, working it all out and things. I know that I want to put each of the vegetables in. Some people will be able to afford to do that. Other people won't be able to. But I just give myself a portion of all the vegetables there, and I'm just adding that up with a rough idea. I then start thinking about the flavours I want to add as well. So I know I've got some nice vegetables there. I know I've got some flavours. You might be able to afford to put all of them in. You might not. You need to have a think about that. That's fine. So I'm just adding up my rough amount of the vegetables and the spices and herbs, giving me an amount there. I'm going to add some lemon to that. I've got plenty of money left over there, so I can have a really good play with that. As I say, some of you are going to find this trickier than others. Some of you will have more money left over than others. But there we go. We've got that amount so far. I'm happy with that, with the lemon. That's all good. I think I'm going to put in some more cauliflower. Yeah, and I think I'm going to put in some more butternut squash. And it's really important you've got someone who's being very, very aware, because you remember you're working as a team. You want someone that's there going, no, that's over budget. So you want someone there working it out and stopping you when you're overspending and things like that. So work as a team to work it out all in rough. Make sure it's all within budget. And when you're happy with that you've got that in rough, you can begin to write out your recipe. Now, you're going to need this for 2 reasons. You're going to need this for you to follow in your next lesson when you're actually going to be cooking a recipe. But also you need this for me, because you're going to hand this in so that I can go and do the shopping for you and make sure you've got all your ingredients that you need. So you need to get this right. You need to get this right for you, but you also need to get it right so that I can go and do your shopping. Okay, so I'm just making sure I've got the amounts written down, because some of the amounts are 100 grams, 150 grams, 200 grams. You need to have it exactly right so you know in your next lesson what you're going to be weighing out and what you're going to be adding to your dish as you cook it. Make sure you check these sums again. This is a really good opportunity to check you've got it right. If you haven't got it right, you need to make changes, but it needs to be nice and clear so you can hand this in. Now, I'm just going to give you a little tip here. If you've got tomatoes in your dish. Now, do you remember Jack Monroe said that these are an absolute brilliant addition because they're cheap, they're a really good vegetable because they're a superfood, and they add lots of flavour. So if you've got tomatoes in your recipe, I would use tomatoes. The other good news is when I went shopping to get lentils, I've got them even cheaper. I've got them for 6p less. And 6p doesn't sound like a lot of money, but my goodness, you could do a lot of that with this recipe. So look, half of the spinach is 6p. So let's have a look at that. The spinach comes in frozen blocks, which are about 50 grams each. So 2 of those is 100 grams. That's 12 pence worth. But hey, I could put in another block because another 50 grams is worth 6p. My magic 6p I've got just because the lentils were that bit cheaper. So that's brilliant news. You could also add another herb or spice, or take these peppers, which 50 grams is a bit over, but you could just put maybe 40 grams extra. You just have a little bit more to play with. So everybody, those are my top tips. You need to remember to get this all filled in nicely so that I can go and do your shopping for you. Good luck with the challenge.